It is Tuesday. Time to jump right back into Elko City News with our city manager, Jan Baum, who joins us here with an update in advance of the regular meeting today. Welcome, Jan. It's great to see you again.
Nice to see you, Lori. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We are firmly now in the month of June, and high school graduation is just behind us, so summer fun is underway, and all of our hardworking teachers and other folks getting a nice break. So that's really cool news.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the town is settled down a little bit from last week. And
the mining expo and graduation.
So wonderful for our community. But it's a busy week.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. We saw that we ran out of parking over at the convention center big time.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So we'll get into today's agenda just because there are quite a few things on the agenda today. The council meets in regular session beginning at 4 o'clock. And let's see, among the top items, I promise I read the agenda today. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. A presentation on the modernization plan, which will coincide with a request on the agenda to go out to bond for $14 million to improve our water system.
Absolutely. And so we've been working on this for, I would say it's been presented in front of council for probably a good 6 months, if not longer. And council, back in April, I believe it was, approved the modernization and asked staff to develop a plan, and so that's what this is it's the modernization plan. The Spiegler group has been helping us with developing that plan, and we're in full implementation in a sense because I believe the bids for the modernization a portion of the modernization plan are going to be opened tomorrow, and so that bid packet has gone out, and vendors are vetting that. So that'll be a great improvement to our community. And what that involves primarily to the citizens of City of Elko is we will be metering the entire city, and it'll take a few years to get through, and it will cost quite a bit, but the state of Nevada does have some programs to assist with that, and that's what the bond is the state of Nevada has money available at an interest-free loan, but we do have to go through the bonding process to do that, and then we will draw on those funds as we use them. We do not have to take out that whole $14 million, but the $14 million should cover the cost of the entire modernization plan. So, and if there's a little bit more left over, then we will return that.
And Jan, as you mentioned, this has been an ongoing conversation. We've had some really good talks. I mean, we've heard them in public and council meetings. Dale Johnson and his crew have been on the radio here. It is a long time coming, but it will really make paying for water more equitable for everybody.
It really will, yes. The people that are using the most water will pay, for the water they're using, and so currently with the flat rates, you're right, it isn't as equitable, and so I think it'll really help with that process, but it'll also help with water usage. I'm sure if you're paying for every drop that you're using, then maybe there'll be a little conservation to come with it, and that is built into the model. We believe that with some conservation, the city of Elko will decrease on their amount of water that we're pumping. And so that will decrease some of our costs. And currently, when summer hits, we are running wells 24/7, and pretty much every well we have. And so we need to start implementing some conservation plans. And then there is some reporting that the state does require, and right now we can't comply with that, which one of the major programs is water loss reporting, and we don't know where we're losing our water right now just because there are no meters. And so it'll be good to be able to get that process going, and I think in the end it'll probably be the best for all of our citizens, for the city of Elko.
And those water meters, I think the deadline or the goal, the target date is January 2025 to start installing them?
Yes, that's
Okay.
when we wanted to get started with that. And Spiegler has a really great plan to keep us going through this process. They've gone through it with many different communities throughout the entire United States, and so they're helping us through this project. And yes, and we're on target. We're moving forward with, like I said, the meter bids, and so we're moving forward with that.
Yep, we should know that we are ahead of the game instead of behind, because you never want to be told what to do. But so that $14 million, no interest, I think most people would agree that is smart business sense. You may not use the entire $14 million, so that can just be left in or returned actually to the fund. And we do have a flat rate increase and metered rate increase that will take effect August 1st this year.
Yes, we do. And that resolution is on here as well. And so the water rate increases that were approved by council, just a quick summary of them were for commercial and residential customers. And they are a little bit tiered. For flat rate customers, it's a 20% increase, and that's quite an increase. And for metered customers, it's a 10% increase. And we do have a meter grant program, and so until we get this implementation going, if residents or commercial customers are wanting to implement a meter prior to the implementation, which we believe will be around January, then there is a form that you can fill out. You can contact the utility office, and there's a form you can fill out and request to get meters before the implementation of the modernization. And the way that grant program works is the customer will pay for the meter itself, and then the city of Elko will pay for installing those meters. And so if the 20% increase is a little bit too shocking or too much for a resident or commercial customer, they can most definitely request to for the meter grant program. And of course, that'll be on a first come, first served basis, because if we have a flood of requests, then we will do them as, of course, as they request.
All right, Jan, thanks so much for covering this. And again, it'll be more discussion to come. I think the council is just going to be approving some of these initial things. And on the $14 million bond, is there more than one reading required, or is that?
No, well, no, gosh.
I was just looking here. I didn't mean to catch you off guard.
That's okay.
Formal resolution declaring the intent of the city. So it looks like it's just the beginning of the process.
This is just the beginning. And yes, exactly. And so, and one of the other reasons that we do an intent to go out to bond is because if there are expenditures that we expend before the bond funds are received, there is a reimbursement clause in here as well, and so that we can reimburse ourselves with the funds that if they are awarded, and we don't have any reasons to think it wouldn't be awarded, but obviously we need to plan in advance for that.
Thank you, Jan. Again, in advance of this afternoon's regular council meeting that opens at 4 o'clock today, water is on the agenda, and I know Dale would want me to mention that any of you that got a notice asking you to investigate purchasing some insurance for your water, you should consider doing that.
Absolutely. So there are some notifications going out, and they are for an external. It has the city of Elko on it, and it is legitimate, and therefore external insurance for water and sewer lines that do not belong to the city of Elko. And so sometimes residents are a little bit confused, and so it's a good educational opportunity. And so water and sewer lines from well, I hate to say the street, but essentially from the street into the house, those belong to the resident. And so if there is an unexpected break or something, that can be very costly to a resident. And so that's what these insurance policies are for. The premiums are fairly inexpensive, and I believe that it will provide up to $5,000 towards the repair of this water or sewer line. So, yeah, and if there are questions, I'm more than happy to answer at the utility department. And especially for older properties, it's really a good idea.
All right. Thanks, Jan. Again, you can contact the city water department if you have any questions about that. But it is, she mentioned, a pretty nominal fee when you consider the investment that you've made in your private property and the cost of doing any kind of plumbing. So
absolutely, it can be so much, and digging up your yard and hooking that into your house. So most definitely it can be costly. And I'm glad you brought that up because we haven't talked about that for a while. So thank you.
Yeah, sure, Jan. And of course, we will talk more about it on these Tuesday city programs here on Elko Live as we're getting closer to those implementation dates. There's an agenda item considering a contract for a replacement for the City Hall boiler, and that's another pricey item, but we knew this was coming, and of the three bids, I guess one is responsive, and they're all, between $140,000 to near $200,000.
Yes, so the boiler that is in City Hall has been there for years and years, and initially when City Hall was built, we still had the geothermal loop, and so City Hall, the boiler in City Hall was at the time of construction primarily for a backup heat. But of course, in the last, I would say 5 years, with the geothermal loop not working properly, then the boiler has been heating City Hall 100%. And so Justin Alanis, who is our facilities manager and is absolutely awesome at it, he is recommending that we replace the boiler. If the boiler goes out, the building will freeze up. So we definitely want to get that done this summer. And there was only one responsive bid based off of the bid packet and different forms that weren't included with the bids. And so it'll be up to council whether they award the bid to the one responsive, or if they want to just say, no, we'll put this back out to bid. But with the timing of everything and needing to get that done by winter, council will have to make that decision.
All right. Thank you, Jan. Jan Baum is our city manager, and we're looking over the agenda in time for this afternoon's 4 o'clock meeting. Let's see. We're jumping around a little bit because, Pool Pact is going to make a presentation, and I believe this is the same insurance coverage that the county uses?
Yes,
okay.
It is. So the pool is a pool or a conglomerate of different governmental entities, and I believe the school district uses them as well. And they have several clients throughout the state of Nevada. Most of them are small to mid-size governmental entities. I believe that the city of Elko is one of their larger ones, actually, but they do a very great job for us. They have a very comprehensive coverage for us, and it was an interesting process. Council did ask us, the staff, to have a bid from private industry this year, and LP Insurance helped us go through that process, and it was a very educational process. And part of the outcome of that, we found out that the pool insurance is very comprehensive. They have great coverage for us. They provide us with a lot of different services, and we rely on them a lot. And so it was a good process for us to go through to reinforce that the pool does a good job for us, and we have some decent rates through the pool. And so I believe the recommendation will be just, of course, maintain our relationship with the pool and go forward.
Yeah, I think that they made a great presentation of the county commissioners, like everybody else, very concerned about those insurance costs. But once the pool made the presentation, I think they understood, where those costs were coming from.
Absolutely. And that was part of the result of going to a private industry. Is it appeared that our coverage would be a little bit of piecemealed, which is really not ever a good idea, and not as comprehensive. And so, we're very much appreciative to be part of the pool, and look forward to continuing our relationship with them.
All right, that'll be on this afternoon's agenda, again, when the council meets at 4 o'clock today. And then, Jen, we kind of saved a few things to kind of lump together because the city is considering some really nice recreation type amenities or affording some quality of life opportunities throughout the community. And one of them toward the top of the agenda, in fact, you'll be getting a presentation from someone named Mike Blythe, I think, is that right? And
Yes.
He's going to be talking about Elko's pickleball request.
Yes, so we've been visiting a lot with the pickleball community, and James Wiley he's our recreation director, which you're well aware of, and might be almost time for him to come on the show again. So, but anyway, he's been visiting with them quite a bit. So currently there is a facility at the Southside Park that isn't necessarily dedicated to pickleball, but it is primarily used for pickleball. It actually will accommodate tennis as well, but it is primarily used for pickleball. And I believe there are 6 courts there. And currently they aren't permanent courts, which means that they don't have permanent nets. So I believe when the pickleball players come down, they need to bring their own nets. And they also don't have the dividers in between the courts. And so those would be permanent changes that we would make to those courts. And then there is a piece of cement across the street from the current pickleball courts that previously was used for, I believe, outdoor hockey. And it actually, I've gone down there and looked at it, and that piece of cement is actually in great shape. And so the idea is that we would go forward with making that court dedicated to pickleball as well. And we're sure that we could fit five courts on there. And so I think that, that's what this presentation is looking at. And we're in agreement with that, pretty much. I believe they'd also love it if it was indoor, which maybe could be down the road on our 5-year plan. Probably not something that could happen right away without engineering and planning and all those things that we have to do at the City of Elko. But we're really hoping that we can get some more pickleball courts down at the Southside Park and get them using those.
That sounds great. And we do know that City Parks and Rec put aside now $50,000 in the budget to help make some of these improvements.
Yeah, so yes, and we're excited to do that, and we'll see how James Wiley puts all that together. He did have a contractor come down that he has worked with before, I believe on the Elko City tennis courts when they resurfaced those. But anyway, he had them come down and look at several different opportunities that we have for resurfacing. That would also include the basketball court across from the Elko City Hall, the handball court, which really needs resurfaced, the tennis courts, and then of course the pickleball courts. So there are a lot of projects he had them come and take a look at, and hopefully we'll get that report from them shortly.
All right, thank you, Jan. A good update and facilitating Elko's recreation needs.
Absolutely, pickleball it's a raging sport right now. Everybody is wanting to play pickleball, and as the presentation I believe mentions it, people of all ages play pickleball, and that's what our Parks and Recreation is for. So we're excited to accommodate that, or at least try.
All right, so that presentation will be near the top of today's 4 o'clock meeting agenda. And along the lines too, also on the agenda today, Elko City support is sought for a grant submittal for Nevada Federal Lands Access Program to construct the Humboldt Rubies Trail System. And it would actually go through part of the city of Elko. It's a bicycle trail.
Right, yeah. So I think that, the trail system, I think all over America, the trail systems are really growing, and the federal government is really taking interest in making sure there's trails available for outdoor recreation. And I just think this is a great project. We're fully in support of it, and I believe that the City Council will most definitely support this project.
I think they're also getting unanimous, if not near unanimous, support from the county commission, so that's always a good sign too.
Yes, absolutely. And most of it is in the county. And so it'll be good to have all that support.
The proposed trail route provides bicycling opportunities within the city, as well as providing connectivity to California Trail Interpretive Center, Lamoille Summit Trail System, and Lamoille Canyon. And then there's a whole other trail system that the Sing Group is working on that what I think would accommodate motorized vehicles.
Oh, great.
I think that's what that is.
I didn't know about that part. So that's wonderful. That's great. Yeah.
We'll have to, Leslie's going to come on the radio and talk about it, I think, when she gets all of her approval in a row, right? So,
that'll be a treat. Yes,
Yeah.
That'll be great.
So we'll talk
Yeah,
more about
Leslie's
that.
put a lot of work into this. I've seen one of her presentations, and she's doing an amazing job. And so, yeah, our community owes her a big thank you.
Definitely. Leslie Creel and her family, I think it's safe to say they've been working on it for decades. They even relocated due to their professions and then moved back to the community and picked this up when,
Isn't that amazing?
Isn't that great?
Wonderful.
A lot of dedication there. And then the other request on the agenda does have to do with a City of Elko land inventory, and our Assistant City Manager, Scott Wilkinson, talked about this last week, Jan. But
great.
Yeah, about 5.6 acres in inventory listed as for sale. There's some consideration of reserving that for the Boys and Girls Club's proposed event center.
Yes, so that property right now is in our available property for sale. And so this concept was brought to us, and so I believe they will be there tonight, but I'm not sure, the Boys and Girls Club. But this concept of an event center obviously has been visited about within the community for a little over a year, and it appears that they're landing on this piece of property as being the place that the best consideration for the event center. And so Scott Wilkinson, which he's great with this whole process. He understands it so well. But he like he said, we should, if council is in agreement and believes that this could be a considerable location for the event center, then we should take that piece of property off of the property for sale that the city is holding, so that it doesn't get sold while they're thinking about this project. And so I believe the way that the agenda item is listed is it would, if council approves this process, then it would take the piece of property off of the City of Elko available pieces of property for a year.
Okay, so it's just reserving it, as you said. There's no actual transfer or anything. There are still a lot of moving parts. This is about 5.6 acres, so by itself, it's not enough to accommodate the plans, but it could accommodate the 164 acres, which is adjacent. And I know Boys and Girls, they've talked about in their public presentations, they're working with the school district. The school district currently holds the lease because it is BLM land.
That's what I understand as well.
Yeah, and it is in the Kittridge Canyon area. It is just off Paradise Drive, and it really backs up to Del Oro Avenue. I think there's a little housing subdivision tucked in there. And so, provide a nice amenity for some of the neighbors out there, to enjoy.
Absolutely. And I think I believe this is very preliminary, so there haven't been any traffic studies or, different things like that. But I do believe part of the plan is that they would, if there is a large building, it would go on the City of Elko property. And then you're right, that piece of property is not large enough to accommodate all of the parking. And, that would need to accommodate a building of that size. And so they would need to acquire some of the BLM leased property from the school district. And to make that whole work, I think there's a lot of moving parts that would have to come together to make this work. But for sure, if council is in approval, then we definitely want to take that off of the available land for sale for the city. And if in the end everything comes together and they decide that is where the event center would be, and it does get funded and it is going to get built, then eventually I would believe that the city would convey that property to the Boys and Girls Club. But I believe that would be down the road in the planning process for sure.
All right, Jan, thanks for the explanation. Again, that's on the agenda, and it's just in the early stages, but folks who are looking forward to that project will be delighted to hear that the city is looking at that parcel. So good. And I think that kind of, well, there are probably some other agenda items maybe that I didn't get to, Jan. You want to make sure we mention today? I think those were some of the highlights.
I think those were the highlights as well that I had circled. And there is one more thing is a new concession services agreement with Kingdom Cafe. They have currently have a food truck in town. I believe I've heard they have a great burger, and but anyway, they will be the new concessionaire out at the airport with I don't know Deli having to leave, and we're excited for that. And Jim Foster was just telling me this morning that Kingdom Grub. Their intention is to have breakfast and lunch services, which will be great for the airport to have some breakfast services or coffee services while people wait for their airplane and or wait to depart. And so we're excited to bring them on and get that going. I'm not sure exactly when they would start. We're hoping around the 1st of July.
Oh, good. And I know there's nothing on the agenda about our flight service, Jan, but anything new to report on FAN or?
There is a little bit of a development. So at the beginning of July, our plane will likely change again. So currently we have the 76 passenger I just left me the CRJ 900, and we will be switching to a CRJ 550. That will be a 50 passenger plane, and it will have dual class services, so it will still have first class and comfort class and regular class, and but it will be a 50 passenger plane, which I believe will be better. So speaking of FAN, it's a Flight Alliance organization that we're putting together, and the FAN stands for Flight Alliance of Northeastern Nevada, and currently there's a minimum revenue guarantee to keep Skywest here and to keep commercial air services at the city of Elko, or the Elko Regional Airport, for our entire catchment area, which is not just this Elko County or the city of Elko. It includes, Eureka County, Lander County, portions of Humboldt County, and so it's very important that we keep commercial air services in our area. And so, as we get this entity going. We currently are in the process of getting our 501c6 designation from the IRS, and so once we get that and have it all put together, we'll definitely be having a lot more press on that. But anyway, having the 50 passenger plane, we're hoping will decrease our minimum revenue guarantee a little bit, and the plane has our load factors, which is the number of people on the plane or the percentage that the plane is full, have been increasing just all the time. And so the airport is doing really well. And so we want to continue that, of course. And so the new plane, yes, it'll be a little smaller, but I think that it'll still be very comfortable for our passengers and provide a great service, and at the same time decrease our minimum revenue guarantee a little bit. So I think that'll be good.
That's great news, Jan, and more to come on that, of course, and we'll be talking about it. And we did want to congratulate, speaking of the airport, there is a new airport operations maintenance officer who's been hired, and his name is Joseph Roberts.
Yes, yeah, we're excited to bring Joseph to the team. He just started, I believe, last week, and training. I think his first 4 days were pure training. And of course, to work at the airport, there are so many regulations at the airport with the Federal Aviation Association and TSA, and so there's a lot of training there. But Jim is very excited to have Joseph on board, and And so that'll be great to get him trained up and ready for winter hits.
Yes, there'll be lots to do at the Elko Regional Airport. And then on the topic of jobs, you do have a couple of key positions that the applications have closed on those, and then another area in which you're still soliciting hopefuls.
Yes. So thank you, Lori. So we have had a civil engineer open for months. I want to say probably 6 months. So that just closed on Monday, and then our city clerk position just closed on Monday. And then, yes, we have a city clerk technician that just closed recently, and an accounting technician that just closed recently. So we've had a lot of job openings, but I believe the one job opening that is still on the website right now is for patrol officers. And the patrol officers are usually opened for a couple months in a row, because once we have quite a few applicants, then we go through a testing process, and then if the officers are new and have never been officers before, then twice a year they're eligible to go to post. And so that happens in July and then January. So I believe our July post is full right now, and for the second for the second part of the year, the fiscal year, then that will be in January of 2025. Boy, we're already talking about 2025 a lot. That's crazy.
It'll be great. We'll get through its primary election day today. Want to make sure people get out and vote.
Absolutely. That was on my list too. Adobe Middle School for City of Elko residents. So for sure, get out there and vote.
All right. The polls close at 7 o'clock tonight, and we'll look forward to, helping provide the news and results of that. And I did want to, before we end the program, just make sure that we acknowledge, Jan, again, our city police force working nonstop, keeping us safe. And they are investigating a homicide yesterday that occurred at a motel. They were able to locate the suspect and take that person into custody. And that's really important for us as a community to know how diligent they were, and did not stop, did not sleep, literally, until they tracked that person down.
Absolutely. And you're right. So they did not stop. They weren't going to stop. And I think that'll give all of the residents in the city of Elko some peace of mind that that person has been apprehended and is at the Elko County Jail. And but yeah, it was a scary situation last night, and I'm sure for a lot of residents, as we were seeing information come through that the person was at large. And you're right, they just keep going until they find them. And I believe that the SWAT team was involved, and they just do a really great job. And our police department, and I believe that Elko County Sheriff was involved as well and helped out as well. And we're just really fortunate as a community as a whole to have them.
Yeah. So it's something yes, Jan, thank you. And it's just something for us as citizens to keep in mind that whenever these agencies, whether it's fire or police, or highway patrol, the sheriff's office, they come to us asking for training or for money or for personnel, it's because of situations like this, because they're here to save our lives, to keep us safe and keep our property safe. So, So thank you again. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Hopefully some of them are getting some sleep, but we appreciate you. And Jan, thank you for your time. And this afternoon's meeting will start at 4 o'clock today. Right? All right.
Yeah, 4 o'clock. And so thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. Thank you, listeners, for joining us for today's Elko Live.